Hello, everybody. Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. It is the weekly kickoff, kicking off the week with style. Returning guest Nigel Seeley, a big man on campus, and Alex from Need for Tips. Here to break down basically the weekend's action, how we did, taking a look at our profit, losses, and some also the upsets. What a weekend. Guys, first of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Pleasure as always.
Awesome, awesome. First one, I have to say, let down quite a few acres, and that has to be the Chelsea loss to West Ham. Nigel, tell us what we all had that. I don't know where if you were betting that game at all. Were you betting that game, and what happened?
I've got a soft spot for West Ham, as I've been on this show before. I mean, JJ used to give me some stick about having a soft spot for West Ham. It's a London derby. Anything goes out the window in London derbies, and West Ham up against Chelsea. There's a fierce rivalry there between the two of them. I probably would have swerved the game, to be personally honest with you. I don't like odds on aways, as I said last week in the Champions League, as I also say in the Premier League every week. And I think when teams are odds on away, unless it's Manchester City, I just don't think you can trust any of the times. It was a shock, and the bookie started off with a fantastic week, but it was a London derby. I thought West Ham defended for their life. Brilliant. I thought there was a very good performance, and I think they're a very, very different side with Winston Reid's in the team. He's a very, very underrated defender, and he was immense in that game. And I thought it was a bold move not to drop Joe Hart, and I think it was the right move. And I thought West Ham looked defensively very, very good. David Moyes is a type of manager who will get that kind of result in one-off games. But can they sustain it at home to Huddersfield? Can they sustain it away at Swansea? No, they can't. And that's why they'll still be in trouble. You know, one win doesn't make the season. But for me, it was a shock. But as the game unfolded, Chelsea coming on the back of a big Champions League game, it didn't really surprise me as much as other results this season.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what, though, they were so close to catching up with Manchester United. They're 3 points behind. They lost to Man City, which was predicted. We took that bet. Alex, you were with me, weren't you? We were going for Chelsea in the over 2.5 goals. What did you think about that loss?
Well, I think that Chelsea didn't create a lot of chances either. I thought that they will concede that goal, and after that they will go strong in the attack and try to win that game. But they disappointed us totally. I don't know what happened, if it was because of the derby or not, or because West Ham parked the bus. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a lot of noise coming from someone's end, and I cannot concentrate. Sorry, guys. But I think that Chelsea were a disappointment this weekend.
Yeah. Nigel, where are you?
I'm in the hotel lobby, so it must be me. I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Have you got like a mute button? Like when we're talking, then you can mute it, and then you can mute out the people in the
Yeah,
background.
I'll certainly do that. I'll certainly try to do that. No problem.
Give that a go. Cheers, Nige. Yeah, and then the other big man, Chelsea loss. What did you think?
I don't have much to say on this. I mean, this is a Chelsea team that played a bad game. What are you going to do? West Ham's improved since they hired Moyes, and look, they're fighting relegation, so they're going to play hard. But I don't have much to say on this one. Bad loss. What are you going to do?
Yeah. What about Liverpool draw to Everton? Any thoughts on that match?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty shocking, frankly, but it doesn't surprise me because I've mentioned time and time again, Everton's a pretty good club, and they're going to continue to get better. Uh, Listen, should Liverpool probably have won the game? Sure. They had some chances, and Dejan Lovren again with a terrible mistake. He's a awful defender, and with him in the lineup, they're not very good. But Sadio Mane's got to be. I mean, that was extremely poor of him to take that shot as opposed to passing to arguably the best striker in the world right now in Salah. I don't know what you're doing there if you're Mane. Very, very, very rude of him to not pass there. I mean, it's a clear goal. You go up 2-0 there, and that penalty at the end doesn't matter at all. A shocking decision there. And it cost them the 3 points, and you only get one where you should have gotten 3.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think Liverpool played with their best team, Nigel?
No.
Absolutely no. I mean, it was
No.
it was a stupid tactic by Klopp, and I thought it was at his arrogant best in the post match interview. The thing is, I mean, I think most of these teams now are realising the Premier League's over. And what they're thinking is that they've got some big games to come against the top four in that division to get into the Champions League. And so what they're doing is they're going to rest players against these kind of games, and they're going to give them everything they can for the Champions League. And that is the big unfortunate thing. And the results of the weekend have just shown that Manchester City will win the Premier League. The Premier League is over. It was over 3 or 4 weeks ago. And now all these other sides have got a mini league to get Champions League places. So they will rest players. They will give players opportunities. And I think that this will be something you'll see regularly happening.
Yeah. Well, we had a flash on Wednesday. It was Premier League Punters show, your friend there, and he was saying that this is the time when you should be backing the big teams, even the likes of Arsenal, who drew to Southampton. Do you agree with that at this point? Should we be backing? Even obviously we've got the midweek matches coming up.
It's all irrelevant. It's all relevant to the price and that. I mean, it's very easy to turn around and say Liverpool win, Manchester City win, Manchester United win. But if you've done that this weekend, you'd have done your absolute bollocks. Now, I'm telling you now, the reality of it is that it's all about price. This is not about, I could put my little boy on here, 7 years of age. He can sit there and tell you Tottenham are a better team than Stoke. He can tell you that Manchester City are a better team. But does he think 1.33 is any value, or does he think 1.5 is value? It's all about the price. So no, Flash is talking absolute rubbish as per usual. I mean, these sides will win. Yeah, they will win their fair share of games. But we're talking about making money here. And I'm harping on about, when we spoke about the Champions League this time last week. If you back teams, I don't care who you are, if you back teams at 125, 133, 140 away from home in the Premier League, you will lose money. And now they're making squad rotations, and teams at the bottom are fighting. There's a massive, if any one of 10 teams can be sucked into relegation in this Premier League, they're fighting for their lives. You will lose dough. And I don't care what you say, but you want to be a layer rather than a punter. So no, I don't think this is the right time that punters coming. I think the teams now have got Champions League to look forward to. But it's all about the price and the value. That's for me what it's all about.
Price and the value. Listen, we are going to get to the Champions League draw in a bit. You're talking about value there. Which bet did make you money this weekend?
For me, I had a pretty bad week, actually, to be fair. Christian Benteke is off my Christmas look hard list. What's he thinking about? Crystal Palace with my nap. I thought Crystal Palace. The one team I did back, I thought Leicester would beat Newcastle. I backed them, so that was good for me. And really, my big fancy was Crystal Palace to beat Bournemouth. So I actually lost on the weekend, but because I had quite a decent bet on Crystal Palace. But I got a bit back on the Leicester game. I didn't play on the big Manchester United Man City game. I could have. I fancied goals. I thought goals was but after 25 minutes, I would have been absolutely quaking in my boots. But no, really, it wasn't a great result for me. But Christian Benteke and Crystal Palace, my biggest disappointment of the weekend.
Yeah, Alex, what about yourself there? Where did you make money? I think we across the board did we have? I'm going to bring up the record in a minute. But what bets did you like from the weekend?
City was my banker, and I went big on it. The last minutes of the game, I was like, wow, it might happen anything, Manchester United could score and draw that match, but I think that the result is a lie, because City could have won 3-1 there. They missed a lot of opportunities. They clearly dominated the entire game. And I think that Pep Guardiola is a great manager, and he is doing really good in Premier League. I didn't thought that he will do that, but here he is, and he is doing that. That wasn't a penalty, so Ander Herrera can talk and Mourinho can talk 24 days in a row that wasn't a penalty, never a penalty in Premier League. Also with Leicester, draw no bet. I went with Leicester. They scored for 3-2, and it was good. But in other games, Arsenal lost. Who else was a disappointment? I think Liverpool. Yeah, I went Liverpool and the over 2.5.
Liverpool, Chelsea.
Liverpool could easily win 3-4-0 there. Big man is right. He's totally right. Mane with a pass to Salah, goal, and after 2-0. We can talk different. But this is life. This is football. This is betting. You win some, you lose some. In the end, if you are on plus, if you are looking for the value of the match, and yeah, I totally agree with Nigel when he said that Flash said to back the big boys here. It's tough to back the big boys after the Champions League. Exactly. This was also my opinion on the Premier League Panthers last week.
Yeah. Yeah, big man. What were some of your favorite bets that came through this weekend?
Well, I mean, Leicester to win was a good one at 2.9. I mean, that was they continue to get very nice prices. Listen, Nigel's session that he just went off on Flash there was music to my ears. Frankly, I wish he would do a little bit more on the American end as far as teaching some of these people how to bet. I try to utter the same talk very often, and people continue to lay these prices over here as well. It's no different, but you can't tell bettors how to bet. They have to do it themselves. It's like a horse, Nigel. You can give them water. You can't make them drink. You can try to teach people all you want. At the end of the day, it's their money. But I want to make a comment here on Manchester United quickly. I know, Natalie, you might want to not listen to this because you might get kind of offended. But um, frankly, the game plan yesterday was horrific. Romelu Lukaku, we can continue to give him a pass. We could continue to give him a pass, and we could continue to give him a pass. But the truth of the matter is, he's possibly, and I know he scored goals at the beginning, and we were making money off him, but he's got to be the most overrated striker in many years. He can only make goals when they're pretty much handed to him. He can't score a goal by himself. That's been shown time and time and time again. Harry Kane can create. Salah can create. He can't create. He has to be just given the ball on a silver platter to score a goal. And you saw yesterday, we continue to discuss how Manchester United, they're just not very good without Paul Pogba. They have no midfield right now. The game plans are absolutely ridiculous. Jose Mourinho is arguably the most arrogant coach I've ever witnessed. I mean, just the game plans are horrific. And the fact that yesterday you could take Man City at 2.3 against Manchester United was an absolute crime. They should have won that game 3-1, 4-1. I thought they were lucky United to even be in the game. The game plans have been shocking, and Lukaku was
Big man.
dreadful yesterday.
Do you think, big man? I mean, I know Lukaku's getting a lot of stick about this his performance yesterday, and rightly so. I mean, he was dreadful. He was Manchester City's best player by a mile. But the thing is, do you think that Mourinho is being found out? Do you think the Mourinho's tactics and Mourinho, this special one, this pretty young thing who come into the Premier League 10 years ago and took a Chelsea side, made them very, very hard to beat, built a team around John Terry, Frank Lampard, and Drogba. Had that nucleus of a strong side. Do you think now that tactically he's way, way, way behind? I do. I think Klopp, Pochettino, Guardiola. I think it's Marco Silva, Sean Dyche is getting results at Burnley, and all he tends to do is make himself very, very hard to beat. Beat teams 1-0 away from him, make them defensively strong, and he hasn't got the quality of that player anymore. And the thing is, he doesn't have a plan B. It was always my problem with Arsene Wenger. I think Manchester United rightly to performance, but he was out tactically, absolutely outdone by Guardiola. It was a masterclass on Guardiola to against Mourinho, and I think Mourinho may have just. I can see Mourinho having one more year here and doing what he usually does, and go away and try to find another challenge, because he's going to be 6 or 7 years behind Man City now. There's no way United are coming back from this, because they're broken world records on players and they're in trouble.
Nigel, do you think that this could happen also under Alex Ferguson? I think that Alex Ferguson wouldn't let Manchester City to dominate him like that ever in his life.
No, and it would be hurt by it. And I mean, he certainly wouldn't be going in a dressing room throwing milk at people. He'd be throwing football boots. But the thing is here. It's just to me. I just think Mourinho is suddenly realising game on game that the game's up for him. He's not the special one he was anymore. People have gone through seeing him as what he, he was a great football manager 10 years ago, but the game has changed. It's evolutionised. There's young coaches coming through with fresh ideas, and I think he's way behind.
And that's been the problem with not only him, but you mentioned Arsene Wenger, and that's why I've had issues with Arsene Wenger for many years. He was gifted talent in 2003 and 2004. I don't think he did anything to manage that team to an invincible season. They had the best talent. That's what he said as well, Mourinho. But you look at this City team right now, and while they're very good, I've been on record as saying I think when healthy they're the best team in the world. But without John Stones, they have been exploitable, and their game plan yesterday was terrible.
Mm. Yeah.
But the
we've got
thing
also,
is with their attitude is that if we concede one or concede two defensively, we can score three. And with the players they have, when you can risk Aguero on your bench in the biggest game of the season for you, it just shows you what armory they have. And unfortunately for Manchester United, the noisy neighbour has now taken over, and they are going to play second fiddle for the next 6 or 7 years. And Mourinho won't like that. And the only way he seems to do it is spend money on Drogba. And I think you could bring in all the personnel you like, but tactically, I think he's so far behind Guardiola now in modern day football that they'll dominate for years to come.
When you see Manchester City pressing in the 85th minute, pressing up in the last third against Manchester United when they are leading 2-1 and not go to defend, this is the match. This is what you have to do. Press, take the ball, score a goal. What to do more than that? And when you see Mourinho starting to defend from the first minute, when I saw the lineups yesterday, I said, yeah, okay, he needs the 3 points. He's playing in attack and everything. But no, he put it Lukaku to defend at every corner of Manchester City. And how to put such an attacking player to defend and to do the defensive stuff? You cannot do that. Absolutely not.
Yeah, we've got here a question from 14 AFC fan. Will City go unbeaten though? Great question. I think we've spoken about it. There's some odds out there for it. We're quite.
They're 6 to 1. They're 6 to 1 now, Natalie. I saw that this morning. 6 to 1 they are to go unbeaten.
Yeah, are you going to take it?
Well, they've just been given a very favourable Champions League draw, which we'll come on to, and so they'll probably get through that with the reserve team. It all depends. They have their leagues wrapped up, so they've got that in the bag. It all depends how much foot they. I think they'll go. I think 6 to 1's a great trading price. If you can back it at 6 to 1 now, and you can hedge a bit back at even money or 5 to 2 come April, I don't think they'll lose until Champions League quarterfinals, semi-finals, if they're going to lose at all. Because that's when they'll probably be drawn against a bigger side that they might look at the Premier League and be 15, 16 points free, and one team might hit them. But would you be a backer at 6 to 1? I think I probably would.
Would you? Is that there's value? There's value in that.
You know what I think, Natalie? I think that he will make the margin bigger till the Champions League will restart in February. And look what happened in the Champions League group. When he didn't want to push because he was preparing for the Manchester derby against Shakhtar Donetsk away, he played with a B team and lost the game. So I don't think that we should back that result, because Manchester City 8, 9, 10 matches before the Premier League will end will mathematically win the title. I don't think that is necessary to push and to go undefeated, because as Nigel said, they will go quarterfinals, semi-finals, Champions League, maybe also final, and they will concentrate to win also the trophy there.
The one thing, though, Alex, the media attention in England will be so much hyped about them going unbeaten. If they get to March or April, the fans will demand it, and he would love to make history. So it will be difficult, but I think their reserve side could beat Bournemouth away. Their reserve side could beat a lot of them sides in the bottom half.
Here's one thing quickly to keep in mind. This has no bearing on Manchester City's possibility of them going undefeated. But I remember 2015-16, the Golden State Warriors were looking to go 73-9. They're basically going to eclipse the Chicago Bulls record. And in that time, they put so much effort into getting that 73rd win. Do you know what happened that year? They went to the NBA Finals and lost. 73 wins, all those wins down the drain because you went too hard. Stephen Curry got injured. They had Draymond Green get suspended. All sorts of things seemed to happen in that final. Towards the end of the year, crazy things happen. I've been on record again saying I think they're the best team in the world. But again, injuries happen. We've seen this team. They're not the same team defensively without John Stone. They will lose a game. I think it's hard to say that they're not going to lose a game. It's only December 11th, and they basically
I'm
Mhm.
on
they've
the same
wrapped up the
page.
Premier League. Yeah, I don't
Yep.
I
Yeah.
don't see it. And for me, it's got to be 15-1, not 6.
Yeah, a little low, but I tell
Exactly.
you, Nigel did make a point with it being a sort of a trading price if they get through sort of the next couple of games. And let's quickly move on now to the Champions League draw. Great draw for some, and for others not so much. Obviously, we're talking about Man City. They play Basel 1.44, possibly the lowest price there. No, Bayern Munich 1.29, 1.44 there to beat Basel. Not a bad draw for Man City. What do you think about that? What do you think about Man City's draw to Basel? Are they
Well,
winning both legs?
Pretty
well,
favorable.
they just that's a great draw. They couldn't have handpicked a better draw. Basel have a very good record against English sides in Europe. A very, very good record. They've beaten Liverpool a couple of times. They've beaten Manchester United in Champions League. Got a really good record. So, but this is a different side. I mean, Man City couldn't. And I think it's huge. I think it's so huge in knockout stages to have your home game second. I think that's huge. I mean, the Manchester City game is irrelevant. I mean, they can go there, win 2, and it'll be over. But where it's like a very close kind of tie, like Juventus with Tottenham, like the big ones, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Barcelona. I think the fact that Barcelona are at home in the second leg, the fact that Tottenham are at home in the second leg at Wembley, I think that's huge, 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 especially in close games. So it's been a favourable draw, but I like in those close ties, the Real Madrid Paris game and especially the Chelsea Barcelona, the fact that those two sides have been drawn away first, I think that's a huge help for them. The one team I don't think is a certainty at all. I don't think Bayern Munich are no 1.29 shots to beat Besiktas over 2 legs because Bayern Munich haven't been
Really?
that impressive for me this season. No, and I tell you what, if they're not 1 or 2-0 up in the first leg or 2 or 3-0 up, they will not fancy a trip to Istanbul. I'm telling you
Okay.
that will not be game over. That will be a lot tougher. I think that
Oh,
We've been
wow.
having like power outages, so the connection goes on and off. I'll let you know once we're back.
Okay.
Okay. And we're
So
back.
they're just not going to see. Okay. And
Okay,
sorry
so
about that. Yeah, go on, Alex. We just had some internet issues there, so we are back. Alex, Bayern Munich, should they advance?
yeah, I think that they will solve the qualifications from their home. I think that they will push because they know they have a really tough travel in Turkey. We know the Turkish fans, we know the Turkish fields and everything. So I think that the Bayern Munich will solve that from home, but not a double leg win. I think that I think that they might get a draw from the second leg.
Okay. What are going over to you, big man? Which fixtures do you think could prove an upset?
Well, I'm not really sure about upset, but I'm looking at some of the outrights here. I'm looking at one of the comments in the chat, about a dark horse in the league. I mean, I think whenever you can get Juventus, it's at 16-1. I think they're worth a look. I mean, I think Tottenham's a favorable draw. I'm not a big Tottenham guy. I've made that comment before. You got to go first leg to Turin. Juventus is playing better. Drew yesterday, but beat Napoli recently. Whenever you can get
Mhm.
Juventus at this kind of price, I think you have to take a look at that. 16-1 is very high for them. I would take a shot with that.
Yeah,
I
I
will
think
tell you a
Tottenham are going
dark horse. I will tell you a dark horse, Natalie. I think that Shakhtar Donetsk is a dark horse here. They can pass AS Roma, and the clash of the round, of course, Real Madrid versus PSG. I think that Real Madrid will qualify further.
Ooh,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, I don't know. PSG are favoured, aren't they? But Real Madrid obviously in this leg 2.25. Big man, you say wow. Do you think PSG have got this one?
I'm not sure that they have this one. I think it's just interesting that he mentioned that. Yeah, look, both these teams have had some problems, but I think Real Madrid has had way more problems than PSG. PSG at the end of the day is best attacking team in the world, probably. But yeah, they've had issues lately. I don't hate that choice, but again, you're just not getting these to qualify bets. I mean, you're just not getting much value. I mean, you're getting even money on that. I'm not really interested in
But not.
tying my
I'm
money
not
up that
talking
one.
about early bets. I'm not talking about early bets. I think that we can have the same odds with 1 week before the match. So when you double your money with Real Madrid to qualify, they have the experience. They won the trophy 2 years in a row. Their problems are getting solved little by little. Till February, we have at least 2.5 months. PSG are struggling themselves also right now. Problems inside the team with Neymar doing what he knows best. How you say, searching for trouble. I think that his teammates don't love him anymore. The coach has issues with some of his important players. So I think that they could spend another 400 million euros and not solve nothing. I think that in the end, Real Madrid is better than PSG right now.
Yeah, looking in the comments here, we've got it is on either side. James Pomeroy, PSG are going to absolutely destroy them. But then the other hand, 14 AFC fan says Madrid always delivers when it matters most, so be careful. So certainly an outright is probably something. They've got Scott Fitzgerald. PSG are trash. So really, I think the outrights are probably one to avoid in this match.
Some of these comments are a little ridiculous. I mean, PSG's not trash, and they're not going to destroy Real Madrid. That's a little too much. I mean, this is a fairly contested match. I mean, both these matches will be, very balanced, correct. And looking at the outrights, I mean, Real Madrid's even money, PSG's minus 120 or so. It's a great fixture. It's going to be probably the best one of the groupings. But, Nigel makes a good point always with Besiktas. It's always difficult to go into Turkey. It's difficult to go into a Ukraine with Shakhtar Donetsk and Roma. There's some interesting. I know this, Natalie. Porto Liverpool is going to be a fun grouping. That's going to be a lot like probably last year with Monaco Dortmund. Should be a lot of goals. If you're looking to bet early, over 2.5 at this point might be worth getting in because that's, I'd imagine, gonna move around a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're going to see goals in this first round, and that's definitely. I'm looking at goals, both teams to score. Porto, Liverpool. Can't quite call a winner on this one. Lean towards Porto though at home, I have to say. What do you think, Alex?
No, I think that Liverpool will qualify. I think that it will be a goal fest, like Big Man said, but I think that after all, Liverpool will qualify. Another interesting fixtures, Natalie, fixture Chelsea versus Barcelona. I think that it will be 180 minutes of total domination from Barcelona, and Barcelona to qualify, but tough. But I think that they will do it also.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one. But just quickly, just again, goals there, Nigel. Porto, Liverpool. Is that the way you'd play the first leg?
Yeah, I think the first legs are always ones I want to be unders. Statistically, it doesn't matter the results. You always want to be unders first legs. But I think Liverpool will qualify. And I go back to my original point. I think if you've got the home leg in your second leg, it's a big advantage. That's probably why the bookies are siding with Paris Saint-Germain slight favourites against Real Madrid.
And Chelsea, Barcelona, a tactical clash. Who do you see advancing from that one?
I'm all over Barcelona. I think Chelsea have got big problems. I still don't think all is right at the moment. Antonio Conte, every time I see him in a press conference, he looks the most miserable man on earth. He looks like Scrooge. I don't know why he's got the ump. He lives in the most affable part of London. He's got a good side as the champions of England, but he looks so miserable, and that suggests all is not well there. Some of the performances this season have been indifferent, especially throwing the 3-goal lead up against Roma. And I think Barcelona will dominate that and qualify that easy.
Yeah, Sevilla, Manchester United, big man, who's qualifying?
Well, I mean, Sevilla's. I want to take them, but I mean, they've had some pretty pathetic.
Do you want to take them? I don't want to take them.
No, I actually would consider taking them just because they can score goals, Natalie. I mean, but you look at some of the results recently. I mean, lose over the weekend 5-0. They lost to Spartak Moscow, I believe, 4-1. This is a team that has trouble scoring goals, but yeah, 5-1, even worse. Yeah, I mean, United will get past this fixture, but this is probably about it for them, I feel like. But yeah, I don't really have much opinion. Sevilla can't keep goals out, so United will escape here, but this is the end of the road for them.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Alex?
Absolutely, yeah. No, Sevilla. I saw the match against Real Madrid, and I thought, whom they're playing? Sevilla B, the B team from the Serie from the second La Liga, whom they are playing against. And I saw the Sevilla first 11, you know, but I couldn't believe mine. In the first 42 minutes, it was 5-0 or something like that. I said, in the first half, imagine that, not even in the second half. 5-0 at halftime. Sevilla nowhere. I think that they were really happy that they went further in Champions League, and they celebrated that with one night before this match with Real Madrid.
Yeah. Anybody got anything that they want to talk about, discuss, or add from the Champions League draw?
I think the English clubs will do very well. I think 4 of the 5 will qualify. I think you'll get 4 teams in the English Premier League in the Champions League quarterfinals, which would be a record. And I go back to the original point they have in the away leg second is huge. And I think Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool, Man United all prevail.
Wow, you think they're going to get past Juventus? Wow.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. At Wembley, going back to Wembley, I think it'll be a magical occasion. And I think Tottenham will rise like they did against Real Madrid. Yeah.
I think that only 3 from the 5. I think that 3 from the 5 will go through without Chelsea and without Tottenham there.
Yeah, I gotta
it's
agree.
going to be tough for Tottenham. Wembley's a tough place still for Tottenham, though, isn't it? Still
not nights like
established
this.
at
Not
home.
on Champions League. Not on Champions League nights. Not now. You know, they beat Real Madrid there. Tottenham. I think Tottenham are a great side on one-off games. So, I mean, they hate it when teams come to defend and try to hit them on the break. And it all depends on the first leg. You know, if the first leg is 0-0 or 1-0 to Juventus, then Tottenham will find it difficult. But if Tottenham can score away, then and the game's open, then I think Tottenham can beat them. But if it's a tight game, then Juventus are the masters of putting 10 men behind the ball, and Tottenham will not be able to do that. But if they can get something from the first leg at Turin, I think they can. Then we've got a game on.
You've got Austin Geist here, Juventus defence looking back to form lately. Tottenham are so hit and miss, says James Pomeroy. Quickly though, winner so far. So looking at the draw right now, big man, who do you see winning Champions League as it stands now?
Manchester City.
Manchester City, nice. Alex?
Before the pre-draw, PSG was first favorite, with Real Madrid being third favorite. But I'm with Big Man there. Manchester City are first favorites right now, going with them.
Wow, Man City. Are you with them, Nige, Man City?
I think Manchester City are the rightful favourites, but would I back them at the price? No, not a chance. At the prices, I back Barcelona. Because
excuse me, Nigel, you're backing at 6 Manchester City to not be unbeaten all season long, and you're not backing them at 4.5 to win Champions League. Come on.
I didn't say that. I said what I do is I'll trade it. I said I'll back it at 6, trade it back in April or March. I mean, like when the Champions League starts up. I didn't say I think you could be able to get out at 5-2. They won't lose until March or April. But I'm not backing Man City at
I mean, to be fair,
players have never done.
To be fair on his comment also, I mean, and this is just me being honest, if you're betting futures at this point in Champions League, you're kind of wasting your time. I mean, you could have got way better prices earlier. I mean, unless you're
what I like here, big man. The reason I like Barcelona and Chelsea, I'd be tempted. You know, you look at these ties, Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain. If you fancy Paris Saint-Germain to win the Champions League, you back them now, because if they beat Real Madrid, they're half the price they are. So likewise, Real Madrid. If you think, what I'm trying to say, I'm looking at Barcelona, and I think Barcelona have got a lot shorter chance to progress against Chelsea than what the bookmakers are saying. So the Barcelona outright price for me looks the value, because they are the price they are now. And if they beat Chelsea, they're going to be shortened up dramatically. Whereas Manchester City are 4.5 now. They beat Bar, they'll be 4.3. There's going to be no movement on their price. I go in and get out of markets. I think Barcelona are the value. I think they'll beat Chelsea, and I think they'll beat Chelsea convincingly. And then what I'll do is I'll lay them back and have a free bet going into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I was more or less saying if you're back at Man City at this point to win the whole thing, you're definitely behind the 8 ball.
Well, if you could back Manchester City today at 4.5, yeah, they'll beat Bale 10-1 on aggregate. They could be drawn against Real Madrid the next round. They'd be 5.
Yeah,
but really likewise, they could be drawn against they could be drawn against Shakhtar Donetsk or Roma and be 3.7. But the price movement's not going to be that great. So I've just said I think Manchester City are the teams to beat in the Champions League. But would I back them at 4.5? No, I wouldn't. No.
Yeah. All right. Listen, guys, before we wrap things up, I just want to quickly ask, we've got Bundesliga mid-matches, and want to see if you've got any matches you've got your eye on, or a tip for the midweek. Alex, kick us off.
Yeah, I have only one. Schalke to beat Augsburg at 1.85. This is the only value from Bundesliga in the midweek. No value more than that. Dortmund to lose maybe against Mainz at 4.6. But now they changed their manager, and it will be tough. So the only one, Schalke, to end this free match draw streak and win their game against Augsburg.
All right, big man. Any Bundesliga matches?
Yeah, the only one I would consider, and the price has kind of gotten away a little bit, Freiburg Mönchengladbach over 2.5. It is pretty high, though. I mean, both these teams are dreadful on defense. And Mönchengladbach scored a lot of goals this year, actually. One of the better offensive sides in the Bundesliga. But, Natalie, to be frank with you, I've really concentrated a ton on Premier League. I mean, with all the other American sports I bet on, it's hard for me to keep track of every single league.
I know, Big Bad. You've got a lot of bets going on across many sports. What about you, Nigel? Any matches you've got your eye on? Have you pulled the trigger on any of them?
Yeah, I looked at two. There was one on Tuesday which I thought was a good play. Hamburg against Eintracht Frankfurt under 2.5 goals. Hamburg only 14 goals in 8 games. Eintracht Frankfurt 17 goals in 8 games. Hamburg's last 2 games have both been 0-0. 1.72 under 2.5 goals. 3 of the last 4 Eintracht Frankfurt games have been under 2.5 goals, or like that. And I liked on Wednesday Hoffenheim to beat Stuttgart 1.91. I couldn't understand that price. Hoffenheim only lost once in their last 8 at home, and Stuttgart no wins on the road in 8 games and only scored 4 goals.
All right, very nice. Only match I'm looking at is Bayern Munich versus Cologne. Bayern Munich win to 0. Shop around. Bet Victor 1.73. Other bookies go as low as 1.67, even 1.55 at William Hill. So show around if you're on that one. Bayern Munich win to 0 at home hosting Cologne. There we go, guys. Gonna wrap up the show because in a couple of minutes we are starting with the Premier League punters, which Flash will be joining us as well to do the rundown of midweek bets. Thank you for joining us, Nigel, big man on campus, and Alex from Need for Tips. And have a good week.
Thank you.
Take care. All the best.